What is going on? And man, we punched the playoff ticket this week. So many things happening. We could punch the ticket. Well, actually, not punch the ticket, but we could win back-to-back AFC championships this week for the first time since the early '90s. Against the Jets coming up. We got some things we got to talk about. The Bills running game got going. That was nice. Very, very nice thing to see. I know my man James right here. You guys know James is our lovable running back here. So he was glad to see that. I think James gonna be in a nice mood tonight because of that. Um, Josh Allen didn't look too good, but it doesn't matter. We still got the dub, and that's what franchise quarterbacks do when you don't have games. You just have to find ways to win them. And the defense is a little bit shaky, but they got the 5 sacks that I was asking for against Matt Ryan.
They did.
I did ask for 5 sacks. I didn't know it actually took a minutes ago that they actually got 5, but I asked for 5 sacks against the stationary Matt Ryan and a bad Falcons offensive line. I felt they got that. A lot of good things to talk about this week. So tonight we're going to be talking about obviously Devin Singletary's performance versus the Falcons. We've been begging and banging the table for months now for him to get more touches. He gets them, and guess what? He produced. It's good to see. Zach Moss actually looked extremely focused. We'll touch on that a little bit. I also want to talk about a guy, Levi Wallace, and how well he's been playing in the absence of Trey White. And what do we think the possibility of an extension is there? What will we do? What will we give? And obviously, we all know about what happened with Antonio Brown this week. And obviously, this is a Bills platform. But at one point in time, Antonio Brown was very, very, very close to being a Buffalo Bill. And I just want to touch on what do we think would have happened if that went through? Because we were very close. I mean, to our knowledge, we struck a deal, and Antonio, his agent, backed out of it. Didn't say he wanted to go to Buffalo, and Brandon Beane just nixed the deal. But so we got some things we got to talk about tonight. But I actually got to say hello to Bill B. Root. Say hello to my guest, James Mallory, as I like to call him, NFL pedigree, former NFL running back, James Mallory. James, what's going on?
What's up, man? Hey,
happy today?
Yeah, man, I'm happy. Besides not being able to go to the barber shop because my barber, he ain't been able to get me right, but it's okay. We in a good mood, So we 10-6. Let's roll.
10-6. 10-6. I mean, obviously not exactly where we want it to be at this point. I think we would have rather 12 wins or 11 wins, especially go back to that Jacksonville game. I'm not going to harp on it too much. Oh, yeah, don't forget, we do have bad takes tonight. And for the first time on this Nothing Personal, we actually have a good take. A very, 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 very good take that I.
Oh, really?
I was gonna give a Christmas, New Year's resolution. I said, I'm gonna try to find something good tonight, and I found a really, really good one. I thought. So we're gonna touch on that. But James, let's break down this Falcons game real quick. We knew that the Bills need to come out and have a pretty good performance against a team that was fighting for a playoff spot, and I think that one of those things that we didn't talk about and that people didn't talk about was obviously we wanted to see the Bills dominate the Falcons, but the Falcons were very alive in the NFC playoff race, and they had something to play for coming to Buffalo. This was not a team at the end of the season that was coming in here where the coach looking to get fired, the guys are shutting it down. They had something to play for. Josh Allen threw for 3 interceptions. Obviously, 2 of the passes were tipped. One was a really, really egregious interception in the red zone, which on third down, this is some of the things we talk about, the hero ball and very Brett Favre-ish traits. You always talk about the Brett Favre comparisons came out where we don't take the points. But overall, what did you see from Josh? What did you see from the Bills? What did you think of that offense before we get to motor?
Man, I mean, one thing about Josh, it seems like for whatever reason, the passing game just wasn't clicking. But when you go back and kind of look at the film, the Falcons, I mean, they were geared up to stop the pass. I mean, their linebackers literally were lying 7.5 yards deep. So they kind of dared us to run the ball. I mean, I don't care how good your pass offense is. If you have linebackers 7.5 yards deep, it's going to be very, very hard to be successful. But special teams find a way to win, and the Bills found a way to win, man. And let's not forget, people are talking about it like the Falcons were like the Lions or something coming in here, where they're just not a very good football team. This was a pretty good football team, man. They've lost some close games, and they were fighting for their playoff lives. So you're talking about a solid team that's hungry and fighting for their playoff lives, and you come out and you take care of business. I mean, that speaks volumes about this team and the pride that they have. and I was really impressed at how they did it. You know, we haven't seen the Bills win a game like that in a long time. Running the football, being physical. I came on the show a few weeks ago and I said that I didn't think they had it in them to do that. I didn't. If you told me we had to run the ball that much and run it like that effectively to win the game, I would have said you tripping, to be honest with you. But they proved me wrong. Not that we don't have the ability to do it, it's just they haven't shown the ability to do it. So I would have bet against them being able to do it. But like you said, we've been pounding the table for Singletary for a while, man. I mean, he's a 1,200 yard back in his league. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's definitely a 1,200 yard back in this league. The defense, they had some moments, but you know what? They got to the quarterback, and when those times to make a play, they were there. They were there, and they showed up for us. I'm very, very excited about what can be. I mean, if we can get this running game to be consistent like this in the playoffs, oh boy. Look out.
It's funny that you say if we can get it clicking for the playoffs. Obviously, we know that the teams we're going to see, this could be pretty much all teams possibly that we've seen in this season or last season. And I don't know how many of those teams actually saw a very good running game from the Buffalo Bills or a consistent running game for Buffalo Bills. So that's something I can't even say these teams are prepped for, or game prep from, because as we know, our guy Brian Dable, he's kind of allergic to running the football normally. So, I thought Josh came back just fine. I thought that he regrouped. I think that he rebounded. Obviously, it was not a good passing game, and I'll continue to hammer home the point that Josh Allen, as strong as his arm is, and I know he has all the traits to throw the ball in any type of weather, he's from California, and he does not play well in the elements. And I get it. A lot of people want to say, hey, this is Buffalo weather and he has all the traits. Just because you have a strong arm does not mean that you're going to play good within the elements. And I thought that this game showed that again. As far as throwing the ball, running the ball, he was effective. Most definitely effective to the tune of 15 carries, 81 yards, and another two touchdowns, 5.4 yards a carry. So, like you said, it was an ugly win. But I think we needed one of those.
Absolutely.
Because that's what playoff football sometimes looks like. It's not always pretty. And especially with the weather coming to Buffalo. We don't know if we walk up the AFC East this week, we don't know what that weather's going to be. For that first playoff game, maybe a second playoff game, maybe a third playoff game at home. We have no idea what that weather's going to be. You guys know how it is in Western New York. You wake up and it be sunny. You go to the store, come back, use the bathroom, look outside, and there's 2 inches of snow outside.
It'll be like that tomorrow.
Yeah, just that quick. So I think that it was good that they got the W that way. The interceptions don't worry me. I know a lot of people are worried about the interceptions. They don't worry me. Two of those passes were tipped. One was just, I think, was going to be intercepted regardless. The one, I think he was trying to find Diggs in the back of the end zone on the goal line play. That was a very arrogant and cocky throw.
Yeah. Yeah. What they call it, arm arrogance.
Yeah, that was an arrogant though. And Josh knew better. He knows not to do that. Because in that situation too, you have to take those points. Especially right before half. I think if we would have took the field goal, we probably been, I think, 17-2 at that point.
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah, it was 14-2 when we threw the interception.
Okay.
So
okay.
It would have been 17-2 possibly if Bass connects. And that's another thing too. I'm kind of worried about. On a side note here, right? We've been extra aggressive. McDermott has been overly aggressive the last 2 games. I'm thinking maybe that last game for that fourth down, couple fourth down plays we went. Maybe it would have been a good idea to let Bass kick field goals in this weather. Because remember, Tyler Bass is from Georgia Southern, from the South. He's still getting used to kicked in the Western New York. And if you've ever talked to any Bills kicker, especially if you ever hear the former Bills great Steve Christie talk, he always speaks about getting used to kicking in the Buffalo winds. It's not something that's easy. We saw it that Patriot game with Bass. So, I think that this next week coming up, if we get some of these field goal opportunities, we should definitely take them because we don't, like I said, once again, we get a home game in the playoffs. We don't know what that weather's going to be. But Stephon Diggs, man, he became the first Buffalo Bill to have 90+ receptions in consecutive seasons.
That's crazy. I never knew that until when I seen that stat. I'm like, really? No Eric Moles, no Andre Reed, no Lofton. That kind of surprised me. That surprised me.
Yeah. I mean, Diggs, one thing I have to say is Stephon Diggs has been more than I expected. And that's hard to say because we knew we were getting an all-pro type receiver. But I got to say, he's even exceeded my expectations. I thought we were getting a guy that was, he'd get us a little bit over 1,000 yards, some touchdowns, open some things up. But we're talking a top 3 to top 5 receiver in the league, depending on how you want to look at it and how you want to spin it.
Yeah,
he's exceeded my expectations. Has he? What did you expect from Diggs when we traded for him, and what are you seeing now?
I'm not gonna lie to you. When we traded for him, I was pissed that we gave him a first-round pick.
Really?
Oh, I wasn't happy. I'm like, we spent the first on him, and my brother, who's a wide receiver, he's like, no, man. He's like, yo, he can ball. He a baller. My brother was on board with it. Mm-hmm. So I usually, he's obviously with him being a receiver, I trusted his opinion. I'm like, we'll see. I had no clue he was, this good. I knew he was a good player. I'm not saying he was a scrub. I didn't know he was this good. He exceeded expectations, man, times 10 for me. I would have been fine with, 900 to 1,000 yards. This dude he's crushing that. And he's consistent. He comes through, he's available, knock on wood. He's been healthy and playing. And one thing about it, what people don't give him credit for, that dude tough as hell, man. If you see the hits that he take, man, that dude is tough. He is a tough cat. And that's one thing that people don't give him credit for, man. That dude tough as hell. He'll do whatever, man. He take a hit, get back up, and he's ready to roll. And he fight for extra yards, man. He has exceeded expectations for me, at least. He's a baller.
Another thing about it, and you talk about toughness, that hit late in that game scared the hell out of me. I thought he was concussed, and he came right back.
Yep.
He played, I think last year, he played most of the season through he had a core injury.
Yep.
And those are tough to play through. We've seen Randall Cobb from the Packers be on IR because of one. So, and then Cody Wallace says he'll get in your face right after. He's a straight dog. I mean, definitely. I mean, he brings that attitude. And we've been saying for a couple of years, that's what we lacked here in Buffalo. We lacked that in-your-face guy that I'm better than you. I'm going to play better than you. And then I'm going to tell you and show you that I'm better than you. That's who Stephon Diggs is. He's like a humble passive-aggressive. If you say something to him first, he going to let you know.
Yep.
He going to let you know for the rest of the game. Ask J.C. Jackson. J.C. Jackson is still on the milk carton for guarding Stephon Diggs. And they say he may be one of the top 5 corners in the NFL. Still missing. Stephon Gilmore. And the thing is, too, I love about Stephon, too, is when he gets a tough matchup, one of those top echelon cornerbacks, top-tier cornerbacks, he gets up for it. He lives for that moment. He lives for that matchup.
Yep.
He don't cower. He don't back down. He ain't looking for Dable to put him in motion, get him matched up better. He wants to go right at you. And he will. And you can't guard him in the phone booth. We seen him against Lattimore. We seen him against J.C. Jackson. We seen him against Gilmore. And we didn't see him score in the end zone in every single one of them.
Man's a baller. He's a baller, man. I will give up for man. Actually, I know they got Justin Jefferson, but yeah, I would give up a first round. The Vikings should ask for more. I'm pretty sure they probably look back on this and say, man, we should have got rid of Adam Thielen instead of him. They probably look at it like that now. But man, listen, we got one.
Well, I tell you what, in their defense, in very few trades can you say both teams won.
Yeah. In
that trade, both teams won.
Yeah.
Both teams have had success
right now as we speak. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but Justin Jefferson, like he's gonna be a player. I don't see him saying that.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like I said, you don't see it much, but we can say that both teams won that trade, and that's good to hear because, like I said, you get some trades that be so lopsided, and it's like, what are you doing? Like I go back to the Randy Moss trade from the Raiders to the Patriots. You know what I mean? There's no way that you even come close to winning that one. So My man Mike Boger says something interesting here. He says, my son trains with Stephon's cousin, said he'd be open to Buffalo if the money is fair. You know what? Stephon Gilmore, and before we move on, he never actually closed the door on leaving Buffalo. He told Doug Whaley to back up the Brinks truck. Remember he wore the cleats to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
Stephon never said he wouldn't come back to Buffalo. So I totally believe it. I totally believe that he would be open. But I think he's going to stay in Carolina. I mean, he's a family guy. That's where he's from. I don't think Stephon Gilmore will be on our table, and I don't think the Bills will be that interested. I don't think we allocated money there. But I do want to talk about another cornerback. One by the name of Mr. Levi Wallace, who has been stepping up very well in the absence of one Trey White. Now, I know a lot of people had their thoughts about Levi Wallace, and there's been a lot of pounding the table and clamoring to upgrade at the QB. At the CB2 position for the last 2 off seasons. And somehow, some way, Levi Wallace continues to keep his job. And now we were just talking about it right after the Trey White ACL injury after he went down in Thanksgiving Day, where we said sometimes when you're put in a position that you have to step up, Dad, you elevate your game forever. And that seems to be Levi Wallace. I'm going to read off some numbers to you from some of these numbers from the 6th game, some numbers are from the 5th game. And I'll tell you why. Some games are over 5. Some of these numbers I calculated over 5 and some over 6 because obviously we know when they played New England, New England only threw the ball 3 times. So some of these numbers would be skewed if we put that game in there because it'd be zeros, and we know why. So over the last 5 or 6 games, he has given up 140 yards receiving, which is 28 yards a game. The QB rating when targeting Levi Wallace is 73. The completion percentage is 60%, but there's a tidbit stat about the 60% completion rate on him. The targets are only 5.9 yards per target. So you're talking about quick digs, quick down and ends, comebacks. Yep. It's nothing deep down the field.
Pitches.
Right. Levi Wallace has been playing at an extremely high level. I wouldn't say a Pro Bowl level, but I would say a guy who looks like a number 1 corner right now. He's trying to get paid. James, Levi Wallace.
I've been a Levi Wallace guy. We talk about cap allocation. Like, there's only so much you could put into certain positions. Some people really think it's fantasy football out here, where you just throw money at a position and get all-stars at every position. You can do much, much, much worse than Levi Wallace. And he's a steady as he go player. Steady as he goes player. He's not going to lose you games, and he's not going to make them huge plays. He's not. He's just not going to do it. That's just not his game. He's going to play within the system. He's going to play within himself, and he's going to give you a chance to win football games. And that's all you can ask for out of him. He knows his limitations. He knows he's not a freak athletically. He has extremely long arms. He has very, very solid technique, and he uses that to his advantage. And I think that's what we need. I mean, we need somebody like that. Now, Bills fans take him for granted, and we've done that in the past, taking players here for granted, and when they leave, oh, he wasn't that good here. No, yeah, he was. You just took him for granted. Let's remember, Bills fans wanted Robert Woods out. Like, oh, let him go, let him go. Then once
that's true.
He started balling, then they want him back. But that's another story. But I mean, Levi Wallace, I'm a fan of him. He's just not the flashy corner. A lot of people like the flashy corners. They like the digs who he'll give you what he got 10, 11 interceptions, but he's given up over 1,000 yards receiving this year as well. So, a lot of times, those flashy, those big play corners, they usually give a lot more big plays too, because they're willing to take chances. Right, so I'm cool with a guy like Levi Wallace, man. He's going to give us an opportunity every Sunday, man. He keep playing like this, man. We got something. And he's going to get paid. Somebody's going to pay him. If the Bills don't pay him,
I want to talk about the contract too, but I want to give a shout out real quick. Shout out to our guy Drip Bayless on YouTube, man. He said he's late as hell. It's all right. His son being born January 6th. He's at the hospital. So congratulations, man. Congratulations, premature congratulations from us because we won't be on air when he's born, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. So, this is one of the things that I talked about before, and you brought up the keyword cap allocation. It would be nice if you could put all pros at every single position without any type of cap allocation, like it's baseball or the max contracts with basketball and things like that, right? But sometimes you have to keep a solid football player who, could be upgraded at certain positions and pay them correctly, so you can pay your top tier positions or your top tier guys. Levi Wallace falls right into that category. He's been in the system for 3 years now? Is it 3 or 4 years now?
This is fourth
year. Like you said, he's never been great. He's never really been. He's had some really bad moments. He had, I think, one really bad season. He was, first half of the season he was really bad, really, really bad. But he fixed it. And it also showed his mental toughness because he was getting targeted a lot. And the fact that somehow his target count has dropped dramatically with Trey White out, you would think that teams would target him the same. He's played some pretty solid quarterbacks too. Matt Ryan, Tom Brady. I'm not going to say who the Saints quarterback service him. I'm not going to count that. You still have Mac Jones with Josh McDaniels as OC. Not like he's played trash quarterbacks or people who wouldn't know to go at him or offensive systems that couldn't attack him. They're just choosing not to. And that's why he's playing at the level he plays at. Now, for me, I would extend him immediately when the season's over, right before free agency. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know what I have in him, and I think that not only did he elevate his game, Dane Jackson has elevated his game. And now you may have 4 cornerbacks when Trey White returns next season that play at a pretty good level and all have starting experience. And Trey White, Levi Wallace, Teron Johnson, and now Dane Jackson. That can completely alleviate you from having to draft one early or late if you don't want to. And I'd be confident on all 4 of those guys. And that's really a tough thing to say in this NFL. And Dane Jackson, rookie minimum contract pretty much. Trey White, he took a nice, as you always say, he took a nice hometown deal for Brandon Beane. But if I had to guess for Levi Wallace, right, I would extend him. Nothing too crazy, but I'm thinking 3 years, 20 million, maybe 18 million, 10 million guaranteed regardless. 6 to 7 million per year. I think that's fair. I think that's fair market value. Very fair. I mean, what is he making right now? I would do it in a
heartbeat. He may do it as well. I hope he do it. I mean, that's fair. So I think we should do it.
Mike Boger says, we let Wallace work up to sign EJ Gaines again. Yeah,
I bet you one thing. EJ Gaines wish he would have took the money and stayed in the system because it fit his skill set. He should have took he should have stayed.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Maybe Levi Wallace looks at something like that, and out come EJ Gaines, and boom, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to stay in the system that I'm comfortable in, that I'm working in, and that they trust me in. The grass is not always greener on the other side, people.
Nope, not always green.
But no, I just want to give Levi his roses, man. Give Levi roses while he's playing because he's a free agent after the season, but he's held his own. So I want to get a tip of the cap to my man Levi and keep doing what you're doing. No surprise. Steady Eddie is what he is. But we're 24 minutes into the show. So before we get into our Motor Singletary segment, I do actually want to do bad takes a little bit earlier tonight.
Here we go.
You guys know what time it is. We have 3 bad takes for you tonight. And like I said, 1 very good take. So you guys know how this goes. Let's get ready. Bad takes. Week 17. Let's go. Bad take number 1. Now, these takes were taken from most of these takes were taken from the halftime post of this game. So they were premature. Way to blow that lead. Looks like they're on their way to another letdown. That's the Buffalo way. What do you mean? It's the Buffalo. We've been winning. The Buffalo way, we lost for 20 years. Now, all of a sudden, it's the Buffalo way? Come on. Bad take number 2. Josh has horrible accuracy in decision-making. Unfortunately, that won't change. Due to that, I think the person's trying to say, we can't win a title with Allen. Sorry, but it's just true.
There's 28 teams that would take that dude and give away their quarterback. Not trade their quarterback, just give them away.
It may
take
be
Josh Allen.
It may be 30. And the reason I say 30 because two of the guys in front of him are old.
Yeah.
So it may be 30. All right. Actually, final bad take of the night. We only got 3 bad takes. I told you for the first time ever, we had one very, very good take that I found. And I wanted to put it out there because it's a new resolution. I want to be a little nicer. So, James, bad take number 3, final take. Drum roll, please. Man, I'm telling you, these guys could bleep up a wet dream.
10-6, first in the division, but they're mess ups.
But what does a wet dream got to do with this? What? A wet dream? Who was in your wet dream, Josh Allen? I mean, I'm not trying to listen. You know what? I'm not even going to go there. But what does a wet dream have to do with the Buffalo Bills?
I'm just speechless to that one.
Come on, man. What is wrong with people? Oh man, the day that someone would compare the Bills to a wet dream is just. I mean, I could see certain people. I could see, but I can tell you this person. Never mind. I'm gonna go to the first good take that I have ever put on this show.
A little history here, JT.
Little history. Week 17, yes, a little history. The first good take, and as you can see, I crossed out bad takes and put good takes. This person says, to be able to say the Bills are perennial contenders has a nice ring to it. Super Bowl rings would be nice, but to know we're not some shit show every year in and year out is a nice feeling. Yes, that's all we've been trying to say. Enjoy it just a little bit. We had a lot of years. I had pretty much my whole little bit of elementary school, all of high school, a little bit through college, into adulthood of the Bills being bad. Can you just enjoy it a little bit? Be just a little bit happy? God. That is your bad takes for the night. And you're good. You're one good take. Maybe I'll try to find a good take every week. Maybe I'll try to find one. Every week. But moving on, I do want to talk about our guy, Motor Singletary, and his performance this week and moving forward with Motor Singletary. Now, Motor came through in a big way for the Bills. He's been looking to bust big runs off for the last couple weeks. But this week, we actually gave him 23 carries, which I'm still just astounded that we actually gave a running back 20 carries. I didn't think we'll get to 15. But 23 carries, 110 yards, 4.8 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, and he's been running people over. If you have not been watching.
Was that Sean Williams? He just did dirty?
Yeah. Yeah. the man playing ball. He's coming up big. I don't know. Maybe it was the Saquon Barkley rumors that we're hearing. Maybe we have heard something about Saquon now. Just saying it's being put out there. But, this your guy. You're the running back in house. James, what is happening? Why is it happening? And what does the offensive line have to do with it? What's the deal? How's it happening? All of a sudden.
Fine. I've been waiting for this, man. I said it. I'll say it again. This dude is a 1,200-yard back in this league, period. I think now, you're starting to see a lot of chemistry with the linemen, the running backs. They're gaining confidence in each other. It works both ways. And I think was really starting to happen now. And, for whatever reason, Dave was actually calling run plays now. And Devin Singletary, he's answering the bell. And the line, these dudes, they're not getting enough credit. They've been playing great. And Devin Singletary, he is running the ball like a grown, I got to say it like this. He's running the ball like a grown-ass man. That's exactly how he's running it. He's not tiptoeing. He's finding the seam, and he's going. no hesitating. He's going. He's getting even. I love the 2-3 yard runs because, man, a lot of people don't realize how big it is. They're going to, Dable's going to call a better game if he goes into it 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, as opposed to 2nd and 10. The 2nd and 10, you got to throw the ball here. You know what I mean? If it's 2nd and 7, you can run it again. So that gives you a lot of different options. And you can set things up a lot better. He's a different play caller if he has the ability to go first or set on first down, get 3, even 2 yards, 2, 3, 4 yards on first down. Man, that changes a lot. So I'm excited, man. I hope they keep it up. But Devin Singletary, that dude is balling. And he's showing, he's trying to make a statement like, yo, I'm that guy. And I think he is.
Right. And shout out to Zach Moss, too, because Zach Moss has been looking a lot more focused, looking a lot better the last couple weeks, too. I mean, Zach was no slouch in this game either. He had 5 carries for 39 yards and average 7 yards.
And I was hard on him. I was hard on him last week, man.
Yeah,
he ran the ball tough. And he did what he's supposed to do, man. He has so much ability. He has the ability to be a very special running back in this league, man. And that's why I was really frustrated. It's not that I was saying he was bad or anything like that. So that dude has the ability. Him and Singletary together can be a dynamic duo. You just got to get it right, man. And I mean, I'm confident in, if we have a motivated Zach Moss and a motivated Devin Singletary, he already seemed like he's self-motivated. When we have those two guys motivated and they running the ball like they're supposed to, it changes the whole dynamic of this team.
Now, and I'll tell you, because like I said, if you guys know, I get to work with Zach a lot, work with Zach very closely hand in hand because I'm actually producer of his show. Zach's a very humble kid, and these guys are young men. They have to learn, and this is a business too. It doesn't become just football anymore when you get to the NFL. It becomes the business side. And James, you spoke on this multiple times. It's not just football. And a lot of things get tied in, and I think Zach has bogged down and focused. I think Devin did it after last season. He attacked that offseason hard. You can see the transformation in his body. You can see transformation in attitude. Now, mind you, I've met Devin Singletary multiple times. I've talked to him multiple times. You'll never meet a more humble kid. It's yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Nicest guy in the room. I'm happy for him because I felt like it shouldn't have taken this long to give him the keys. I felt like somebody, and you spoke on this before, about Brian Dable possibly not liking smaller backs. It felt like this dude had to work extra hard to get something that he had already earned. He earned the starting nod, and he earned trust, in my opinion, his rookie season. I don't think it should have taken this long. I don't think we should have got to week 15 or week 16 in his third season after he's always been productive.
Yeah.
There's never been a point when he's been productive. And just like any running back, you're only productive as your offensive line.
Yeah.
And we can honestly say this offensive line has not been productive these past 2 seasons in the run game. Probably because we're so pass heavy. I think that's honestly the reasoning. I don't think it's talent level. I think it's just the reps and how we play. But he's earned it. I'm happy for him, and I want to see this kid to continue having success. He attacked the offseason. So I want to ask you about have you seen any changes in the run game concept that has led to this change? And then you could touch on the offensive line for me. Like, what have you seen in them? And
I don't think the concept has really changed much. I mean, you still see some zone stuff, and you see a lot more gap scheme stuff where you're really attacking the gaps instead of zone blocking. And, I just think it's a thing of chemistry. I really believe it's just chemistry because it's going back. I had to trust my offensive lineman, knowing and reading blocks, understanding when, this guy, what he's doing, what he's setting up. And, we working as one. And I think that's what's kind of happening now because there's more reps, repetition. You can't be effective if you don't have repetition. And with the reps they're getting in practice, you'll never, ever be able to simulate a game. But the game reps they're getting are very, very valuable, and I think it's just starting to click now. And it's clicking at when we want it to, near the playoffs. We didn't want it clicking in week 8, and then it fizzles out in week 16. We wanted to come along now. Now that gives defense coordinators a little bit more to sit up about that night and plan against, okay, this running game is effective. How are we going to stop it? Not just Josh Allen,
Mhm.
Zach Moss can run the ball physical inside when he got his head on right. And Devin Singletary, that dude's strong as hell, man. You can tell he hit the weights this offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude was in the weight room. You know what I mean? He's strong. He has great balance. So, you know, I mean, if you see him, he's bouncing off the tackles. He's keeping on. That's balance and strength and balance. You know, that's exactly what it is. So, man, I think it's just clicking and coming together now, JT.
Ryan Bates, as people are saying in the chat, has made a big difference. What's the difference do you think has been with Ryan Bates? John Feliciano has been on that side, and I mean very, very seldomly this season as he battled different things in Cody Ford. Is it the fact that Ryan Bates can play all 5 positional line? And I don't know if people know that, but Ryan Bates can play all 5 position offensive line, from left tackle to right tackle, center, and both guard spots.
To be honest with you, when I watch him on film, he's just getting after it. You know, that's just it's just point blank. Period. Simple. That simple as that. He's getting after it. He's hungry. He don't want to come off the field. And that dude he's coming off of blocks and he's coming with bad intentions. And you know, that's something we were missing. You know what I mean? I think Feliciano could have done it, but he's had just a strange year this year. Ike, he's what he is. He's a reserve lineman, you know, and we tried to put him in the starting duty, and he's just nice guy, but that ain't it for him. You know, he's always gonna be that 6th, that 7th lineman. He can come give you a half a game or a full game and get you by, but we needed more than that out of him, and it just wasn't there. And I think Ryan Bates, I mean, he's been hungry, waiting on this opportunity, and he's going to get it, man, because that dude is balling. He's balling. I mean, the way they're playing right now, obviously there are going to be upgrades. I know I'm getting a little ahead. There's going to be upgrades on the offensive line. But the way they're playing right now, make a case like, hey, do we got to spend big money on a guard? I mean, they're making a strong case right now. I mean, are they going to? Probably. I think it'll be a middle of the pack. I don't think it's going to be a high-tier guy. But, I mean, the way he's playing, you give him a shot and then maybe draft somebody in the 2nd round, it's a thought.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, I think that you're going to end, if you do spend money or whether you get a mid-tier, I think that's going to end the Cody Ford era.
He's done. Yeah. I was hoping I was pulling for him. But, I mean, he has so many opportunities. He just never sees the moment. It's just a change of scenery is needed. I believe he'll be traded.
I think he'll be traded too. And I think there'll be teams that'll be calling for Cody Ford as well because he's a 2nd round pick. He's going he's going to be year 4 next year.
It'll be year 3, right? Or is it year 4?
Year 4. Because he played the first year rotating at right tackle. He played 2nd year, he got hurt. And then last year, this is year 3.
Yeah.
The first year was the Texans. He was working with the Texas playoff game.
So,
I mean, there'll be teams calling.
He'll be going to year 4, right?
Yeah, there'll be some teams that give up a 5th round or 6th round pick for him. And like you said, he could still end up being good. We saw it with Wyatt Teller. He could end up being good somewhere else. But like you said, change the scenery. And sometimes you just need a fresh start. So like anybody in life. Sometimes you just need to leave your job and go to a different job because mentally you just need a fresh start. I mean, to move out of the house, move to a smaller house or bigger house, whatever the case may be, a fresh start. And I think if it happens, I do wish him all the best if it happens. But I think Ryan Bates has definitely put himself in a conversation for a starting guard position next year. And like I said, even if they do draft high or even they do pick up an offensive lineman in free agency, I'm still keep throwing that name Brandon Scherf out there. I'm gonna keep throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Speaking to existence, Ryan Bates is going to throw his name in the competition for right guard spot. He may throw his name in for the center spot because, like I said, the guy can play all 5 of those positions. So, kudos to the offensive line. Do you think Bobby Johnson has done anything different with the offensive line? Because, I mean, this is a guy who was coming under fire. I mean, his job was if it was up to us, his job was on the line.
Yeah, I think it was a situation of finding the right combination of guys. You know what I mean? It's when we didn't anticipate Feliciano, you know, all the crazy things that's happened with him. You know, Cody Ford just didn't pan out. And I mean, he probably is in a position where he had to play him. I mean, you had to see what you got in the 2nd round pick. I think he's did a tremendous job coaching him up because the talent we've had on that line at points and times, Deion Dawkins missed time. Oh man, it could have been really bad on Josh Allen.
Josh Allen
made some people miss. It could have been bad. I mean, like bad. I think he's done a solid job with without many, tools. To be honest with you, it's been limited this year. You got to add a couple more bodies in that, quality bodies in that room to really evaluate him. I think he's earned himself another year as offensive line coach.
I think so too. I mean, like I said, sometimes all it takes is that late season rush to late season success to get you going.
Yep.
But kudos to that Bills offensive line. They've been playing very good the last couple of games, and it shows in the stats. It shows on the field, and I think they definitely passed the eye test for Bills Mafia for the last couple of games here, and hopefully it continues as we get deeper into January and February to these playoffs, because we know you have to be able to run the ball in these around these times to make it to LA for the Super Bowl if they're gonna do that. But before we get off to that, I do want to talk about this Antonio Brown situation, and obviously, I think we all know about the situation that took place with it. Unfortunately, Antonio Brown taking his pads and things like that such off, and pretty much quitting there on the sideline. Now, I'm not gonna make fun of the situation. I'm gonna be sensitive to the situation because you never know if this is actually a mental health issue. I've happened to be on record for multiple times saying that I do believe that Antonio Brown does suffer from possibly CTE, and like I said, I don't want to put that in universe and just say it's just his mannerism and behavior. It strikes me as somebody who's suffering from something, and as we know, this game of football is very physical, very aggressive, and we've seen this multiple times. The unfortunate part, as you brought to my attention, James, is the NFL is still searching for ways to scan for brain damage, because currently right now the only way you can find CTE is through an autopsy report. So obviously the person can no longer be alive. But have you ever seen anything like this? And I know you played all levels of football. Have you ever seen anything like this happen?
I personally haven't. Not during the game. During practice, I've seen people, throw pads, being upset. Then the next day they come back and ask for forgiveness. With the whole AB situation, man, it's just unfortunate. Mental health is very, very serious. And I actually got upset when I seen people laughing about it on social media in regards to calling them all types of, fools and this and the third. I mean, if it was a mental health issue, it's nothing to laugh and joke about, man. And it could be any of us. You never know where somebody is mentally. You don't know who's almost at their breaking point. You know what I mean? It's like you never, ever know what's going on here. You can't see mental illness, in regards to a lot of times, like you can see if somebody has, the flu, or you can see when somebody has a broken arm or somebody's hurt that way. But somebody has a mental illness, there's really no way of knowing, man. It's absolutely sad. I hate to see it. I think it may be some things going on. I mean, it's obvious Antonio Brown got some things going on upstairs. Me personally, I want to know, what actually happened. Does that justify his actions? No. But at the same time, what pisses me off about people, they act like professional athletes aren't human, right? No matter, that's their job. That's what they do. That don't make them no better or no worse than anyone else, right? So you mean to tell me if it was, I'm just saying, I'm throwing a hypothetical situation out there. If he felt disrespected or if he felt treated, just mistreated in any type of way, disrespected, there's people out there that'll walk out their job. So he walked out his job, which people do literally every day.
Daily basis.
People walk out their job and nobody can sit here and tell me they're going to let their employer just continuously I'm not saying this happened with the Antonio Brown situation. I'm just giving an example. If he felt he was disrespected and wronged and just done wrong, he did something that Americans do on a daily. People walked out of jobs and sat on unemployment during the pandemic. People right now are refusing to get the vaccine and letting it, whatever, fire me. I mean, that's kind of a similar situation. If he was injured, as they're saying, and he just wasn't physically able to perform, and they tried to put him out there, He did what a lot of people doing right now when they're trying to force people to get the vaccine. Well, hey, guess what? If his ankle's hurt and he can't perform the best of his abilities, putting himself and his team at risk, okay, fire me. That's what these same people that's dogging him, they don't dog these Americans other Americans that's making that choice to not get the vaccine and just say, hey, okay, let me go, or they're leaving their jobs. I want to know what really happened. And once again, I personally wouldn't have handled it that way. I'm not making an excuse for Antonio Brown. But at the same time, it's only so much disrespect any of us are going to take. If he felt disrespected or anything, you never know. And he was at his breaking point. We all have a breaking point. If somebody, I don't give a damn how much money you pay me. My respect is priceless. You know what I mean? My man, me, I'm a man before anything. So I'll be making $1 million, $15 million a day. You're not going to disrespect me and just act like I'm supposed to take it because you're paying me a nice salary. It doesn't work that way. And if that's how you operate, cool. I don't operate or function that way. And I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown is a guy that don't function that way. So it's only so much disrespect and foolery he's going to take before he say the hell with it. And you got to realize too, when your money right, you handle things different. A lot of people, he don't need that money right now. He don't. Pac said it. You can't go to war. Don't go to war unless you got your money right. He got his money right, so he went to war with them. Is he gonna win that battle? No. But that's a decision he made. He has to live with it. But to call him a fool and make fun of what could be a potential mental health situation, all right, but who are you to tell him he can't walk out of a job what people do every day? That's at the end of the day, it's his job. He's not supposed to take more than the average human being because he make a good salary. That's just bull crap.
Well, like I said, it is the day. We do live in the day and age of the Great Resignation, as they call it. And he walked off. It was very unprofessional.
Very.
It's something you don't do. And it's even if he was mad at Bruce Arians, that's one thing. But you don't walk out on those other 52 guys on that roster.
Never.
Because,
and not to cut you off, JT, but I wasn't trying to make an excuse to say he was justified to do that. I was just playing devil's advocate a little bit. You know what I mean? But I would never handle nothing like that, me personally. I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah. That was the biggest part for me is you don't walk out on your teammates. These are the guys that you bleed sweat and tears for. But you don't walk out on them. I thought that, and like I said, I don't want to diagnose people. I'm not a doctor. Okay. I'm not a doctor, but there's definitely something wrong there. Because and if there's not, then if there's not something mentally wrong there, then this dude is just on a train wreck, and he just does what he wants to do.
But ego can play a lot in that, JT.
It can. It can. But I would not like to think that a regular human being would have that much ego where we've had the list of things that he's done over the past 3 to 4 years. Yeah. Well, we've seen it before.
I agree with you, but let's look at it too. A lot of things he said has came true, and that he's had a problem with. It's came to light. People called him crazy and all this other stuff. Look at what happened with John Gruden. He had a problem there. Look what happened with him. He's not there anymore. Look at the Pittsburgh. Certain things happened in Pittsburgh.
He did have a problem with Gruden, and I get that, but I don't think that had anything to do with who Gruden's person was. I think his major problem was actually with Mayock more than it was Gruden. I think Gruden was actually trying to fix it. What it seems to me what the problem with Antonio Brown is he's slapping the hands away from people who are trying to help him. He's like that family member who takes advantage of other family members, right? So, and let's go back to Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin has never been one to not get along with his players.
Yeah.
But you had a problem with Mike Tomlin. So did Le'Veon Bell, but now Le'Veon Bell is kind of hinting that he wants to go back to Pittsburgh now. So that the grass will green on the side. Then you get traded to the Raiders. They get you out. First of all, let's not skip the Raiders. He almost comes here to Buffalo. This is a team that wants you to bring you in, wants you to work out, and you pretty much slap us in the face before you even get here. And then you laugh at us after you slap us in the face. Then the Raiders trade for you. You say you're free, you're happy, da-da-da-da-da. You get there, and then boom, everything happens there, and that's a problem. Then you go to New England, not necessarily his fault. Some allegations, things came up. New England has to release him because we do live in the day and age where the league almost forces you to release people for certain things.
Yeah.
Tom Brady gets him down there in Tampa, and this is what you do to Tom. And I've talked to many of players that says, if you want to play with anybody ever as an NFL player, it's Tom Brady because he takes care of his guys, takes care of his teammates. And he wants to be treated like number one. That's my only issue with it. And like I said, if it's mental health, which at this point, I'm going to give Antonio the benefit of the doubt and say that it's mental health. Because I don't think that an Antonio Brown without problems does all this. I don't see it. But Buffalo dodged a bullet.
Big time.
Buffalo dodged the bullet that that trade did not go through.
It worked out perfect. I mean, that means probably we have no Diggs. Diggs won't be here. I mean, Diggs is a perfect fit for the Buffalo culture, what you're trying to do. On and off, it's just a perfect fit. And I think Antonio Brown would have been the complete opposite here.
Antonio Brown, and we talk about this all the time, especially off air. When we have our chats about how important culture and locker room and chemistry is important in football compared to other sports.
Yeah.
Number one, it's important in all sports, but football is such a grueling sport and such a minuscule sport as far as execution goes that everything has to be on the line.
Yep.
And one person can destroy an entire locker room. This is why we were so concerned about the Cole Beasley situation this season going into it, because it takes one person and one thing to throw off the, I don't know if you I call it the zen of a locker room and completely derail a possible Super Bowl team. And Antonio Brown would have completely derailed this franchise. And I'm sorry to say that about the guy, but he would have completely derailed this. And who knows what he would have done to the development of Josh Allen.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it would have been a bad situation. And it worked out for itself. It wouldn't have been good for the development, wouldn't have been good for the locker room. I don't think the locker room was ready for it at that point in time. Is the locker room ready for it now? Yes. At that time, absolutely not.
No. You had Tremaine was young. Josh was young. You had guys like Renzo Alexander still leading. And if you brought someone like Antonio Brown, people like Alexander and Kyle Williams wouldn't have been able to take these young guys under their wing and show them how to do things right way to become leaders, the leaders that they are now in 2022. Because you would have been focused on trying to fix this mess over here. Yeah. Trying to deal with this guy over here, asking questions in the pressers about this guy over here. That has nothing to do with football. And that's the worst thing you can do with a football team. So, well, I just want to touch on that real quick. And, yeah, I mean, mental health is very important. And as we continue to go through this pandemic and things with everything that's going on across this country and world, we could just tell you, please focus on your mental health yourself.
Absolutely.
If you need to take a step back from things that's bothering you, do so. If you need to take a step back take a break from things, do so. Just keep your mental health in line and stay safe. But James, that's pretty much our show, man. We got the Jets coming up this week. You think we AFC East clinch this week?
I believe so. They're gonna fight though. It's not gonna be easy. Them dudes gonna fight. They're gonna come in to fight.
They fight
because you gotta realize what fans, a lot of fans don't realize, is these dudes that's coming in, they plan for their NFL career. This is their resume. What they put on film these last few games are going to tell who's going to sign them, if they're going to stay there or get cut, or if they're going to get signed as free agent somewhere else. They're going to look at their effort and see what they bring to the table, man. I mean, they're fighting for their NFL lives right now. If you come out there and you put a BS product on the field, the 31 other teams going to see that. Who wants a guy that tanks it at the end of the year on their roster? So these guys, I got a feeling they're going to come in and fight. We're going to take care of business, but they're going to fight. It's not going to be easy. But we'll be good. You know what? The Jets are building, and I want to give them credit. They have not quit on Robert Saleh, and that's the biggest thing you can see from a coach. The team not quitting in your last couple of games. They've actually played extremely tough, and I think you're right. We do have a tough game on our hands. I think we're going to win this by double digits, though. I think we're just that much better than them. But hats off to Robert Saleh and the Jets for continuing to fight this season. And absolutely,
as I've said earlier this season that the Bills' rival for the next 10 years in the AFC East will not be the New England Patriots. It will not be the Miami Dolphins. It will be the New York Jets if Zach Wilson develops. And he looks a lot like Josh Allen looked after the injury his rookie season when he got to step back. And he said he's always a record saying he got to step back. Then when he came back, the game slowed down for him because he got the chance to play, then he got to watch, and then he went back to playing. So yeah, James, hopefully we can wrap up this, get the AFC East this week, get a home game. You know what? I would like to play New England Patriots, and I'll say it again for a second week in a row. I want to play them, win or lose. I want to play them in the first round of the playoffs if we can, because that's the proper way to dethrone.
Absolutely.
I want to put our foot on their necks, and I think we already got our foot on our necks, and now I just want to press down just a little bit.
Get a little bit, finish the job.
Finish the job. Yeah, fatality, as they used to say in Mortal Kombat. Finish it.
Yep.
But hey, guys, this was another episode of the I forgot the name of the show. Jesus. Nothing personal, it's just Bills. I am your host, JTM. I got my co-host and my guest in the building, former NFL running back James Mallory. And James, thanks for joining me tonight. And this was a great show, great segment. The Bills are – we won.
Always, man, especially after a win, it's always smooth.
It's always a better show.
Like
said. So let's keep playing. Like I said, guys, it's a new year. New Bills running the football. Let's continue running the ball, and we'll see you guys same place, same time next week. I don't think you got nothing going on, right? Nothing coming.
Nothing going on, but Bills.
All right. Make sure you guys are following us on all platforms on Spotify. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. Discover 716 has a giveaway on Instagram right now. We gave them a Kyle Williams autograph jersey from Buffalo Autographs. They're giving that, so make sure you get that. They got like 3 different prizes. That is at Discover 716 on Instagram, so make sure you're checking that out. And as always, thank you for tuning in to your Tuesday touchdown. I am your host, JTM again, and we will catch you next week, hopefully as back-to-back AFC East champions. Now, that has a nice ring to it. Catch you later. Peace.
We out.